Have you been eating the fresh produce I smuggle in?
Moonshine's got corn in it. I'm gonna chop that thing up like a party sub.
Compound B.
That's the title we went with?
Wow, you sure sound like you're on TikTok.
Half a bottle of rum, and you're a solid 5 out of 10 any day of the week.
Bees?
Welcome back to Compound B, a show about the boys. I'm Jamie G, the man with the golden arms. I'm here with our guy from the back of the house, the Soupdeucer, and our very own MM, Magnum Mills, to talk about 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. Yeah, you're right, it's the title of Soup's infamous sex tape, but coincidentally, it's also the title of Season 5, Episode 1 of The Boys. Soup, Season 5 is here. The dynamite has gone boom. Are you ready to do this thing one last time?
Absolutely. I've been ready for 2 years, man, and it was well worth the wait, dude. They definitely lowered the dynamite for sure, man. Um, I'm just stoked to be able to get into this. I'm not going to unleash anything yet, but yes, very happy that that it's here finally, and it was delivered. It definitely delivered. So, man, I'm in, dude.
I am also in, like the Soup said, we got the little appetizer with the Gen V, but been waiting for this one, and it came out, on Wednesday. We're waiting the three of us to get together to talk about it because, man, I've been looking forward to it. It's going to be worth it, and we appreciate you checking us out, talking about it. That's how it works. That's how we do it here on Compound B, a show about the boys. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had the fun, you gotta click the thumb.
From this point forward, there's gonna be full spoilers for all aired episodes of The Boys, Gen V, and The Boys Diabolical. There could also be minor spoilers from The Boys original comics. And if you don't know, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
This is 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite, Season 5, Episode 1, the 33rd overall episode of The Boys, originally released April 8th, 2026. Directed by Phil Screesia, this is the 7th episode of The Boys that he's directed, and he's directed every season premiere since Season 2. Written by Paul Grelong, this is the third written by credit for him on The Boys. He had previously written the penultimate episodes of Season 3 and 4. One special guest star here, we have Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy. Bunch of guest stars here, starting with John Noble as Sam Butcher, Chris Hayes as Chris Hayes, Christian Keys as Nathan, Eli Henry as The Worm, Dylan Colton as Jetstreak, Emma L. Patterson as Sheline, Jessica B. Hill as Ivy, and Derek Johns as Love Sausage. The synopsis, according to Vought, is, attention freedom campers. Escape attempts will be met with deadly force. Have a super day.
Before we dive into the episode here, and I mean deep dive, let's start with our overall thoughts. Soup, you're up first here, man. What'd you think of episode 1?
I absolutely loved it. Like I was kind of saying earlier, man, if you're gonna wait 2 years for the next season, they got to deliver, and I feel like they delivered. I mean, the title's a little misleading because there's a lot more than 15 inches there, man. But hey, I'm down for it, dude. That is the way to go. This episode was nonstop, just I mean, that's how it should be. In true boys fashion, it was just captivating from beginning to end, man. On a bunch of different levels. So it was all across the board, dude. I mean, nothing was really cut short. It was every character, every scene, every scenario was just high octane, man, and I absolutely loved it.
Sheer dynamite, even, if you will. I mean, I'm pretty much with you there. I think there was pretty high expectations for this one, right? I mean, because of the long wait, it's the final season. This is a show that, while the pilot was great, it's never really nailed the season premieres, and I think part of that was they always used to drop the 3 episodes at once. Here we only get 2, and it seems a little bit more deliberate, like you said, a little bit more action-packed, despite it running right around an hour as far as the runtime here. Like you, I don't really have any complaints. You could maybe make a slight argument for, oh man, they kind of just drop us in here a year after the previous season, 6 months after Gen V, and expect us to figure some stuff out. They kind of just assume that we saw the trailer, I guess. But for the most part, I think it works because I would rather watch what we got than have to get some exposition. And, I think you're just in a couple scenes at the Freedom Camp, you can tell how it's been going with the scene or two with Starlight, with Butcher. You get the idea. All right, we know where they're at basically. There's probably some fun stuff, some stories we missed, but for the most part, it drops us right in, and I think that's great. I will say on a certain level, again, full spoilers, I hate that they killed A Train because they really made me like the dude now, and I was excited to see what he could do in terms of the big battle. But he went out like a boss, and we're definitely going to talk about it here. But if you got to go out, I think he got a great character arc, a great redemption arc. I think he checked all those boxes for me. So yeah, overall, I'm most definitely feeling it. The soup's feeling it. Jamie G, are you down with the vibe here?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more of the same here for me. I absolutely loved it. I just, yes, there was some time that had gone by, but there was enough. I mean, we get Huey with a beard. You can kind of tell, like, all right, he's had time to grow out a little beard here. All jokes aside, I thought they did a good enough job to where, like, I wasn't like having to go back and remember anything. I also thought they did a nice job of bringing in classic boys humor, classic pushing the button, and also some of the more kind of characters that we liked over the years. Love Sausage, most notably here. But outside of that, once again, there's this incredible parallel between the the world we live in today and how crazy it is and how close we are to approaching that space to what we're seeing here. And it's just they just master it, man. And so it had everything you wanted out of a boys episode in terms of the humor, the dialogue was off the charts. I like this new Starlight we're getting here. There was just a lot to love here. Overall, super super pumped with the premiere.
Absolutely, man. I think my only worry or concern, which I didn't see any of this happening in the first two episodes, but I don't want them to have to like rush it and cram it in like they did with Game of Thrones, where it feels rushed. At this point, it doesn't, but if it does towards the end of the season, I might be disappointed a little bit. But I feel if they keep it this pace and and do what they're doing, it's going to be spot on. So
Yeah, I think they did a lot here to temper any concerns, because I think for some people, season four felt like a little bit of tire spinning. We all enjoyed it, but once you got to that season four finale, heart-shaped box plays, you get that montage. It's like, all right, we're entering a whole new world here. And I think they lived up to that. And I think that was one of the important parts here, that it didn't feel like we were going right back to the status quo. And even again, I hate that they killed A Train, but it sets the stakes, right? That's one thing, minor spoilers for Game of Thrones. But when they got to the end, they were very reluctant to knock off characters. And that was a show that was famous for unexpectedly killing characters. And I think here we needed that, right? We need to know, like, it's the final season. Anybody can go. It's spin-off sequels, be damned. Like, everyone's in danger.
yeah, we'll probably see more characters dropping off as well. I would think, but I definitely thought that at least one major character would be out on during the after the first episode. And again, in agreeing with you, I hate the way it went down because I grew to like him a lot too. And we'll talk when we get to that point in the episode. We'll talk, I'm sure, more about this. So I'll kind of save that for later. But yeah, totally agree with you on that one.
And they kind of needed to too. I mean, we look, we have to know this is the final season, right? Otherwise, people are just going to want more and more and more. And one way to do that is to kill off characters and also give the bad guys, if you will, in this case, Homelander, a win. And then hopefully we come back and the boys get a win. And the crazy thing is, the boys kind of have their own bad guy with Butcher now, and there's the internal and Homelander's unraveling. I mean, it's just there's so much going on here that it's just awesome. And here we are, one episode in. I don't have any idea how it's going to go, which is what I want. And when you talk about the producers and the folks who made this, they came out and said this was going to be their bloodiest, craziest season yet. Those are big, bold words. So being able to live up to that, I think in season one here was cool. It was an awesome death scene for what it's worth with A Train. I kind of had a feeling he was gonna get got when he had that little heart to heart with his with his brother, and his brother kind of finally like gave him that, like, I forgave you, you saved someone, you use your powers for good kind of thing. And that was cool. But the interaction with the interaction with Deep there after that scene was awesome. So I kind of had a feeling it was coming. But dude, how cool of a scene. We'll get to it, but the shot with like Homelander flying through the woods, blowing through trees and stuff. I love the chase on that one. I thought it was a really well done shot. I know we'll get to it here in a little bit.
Yeah, the red eyes in the dark again. Another one we saw in the trailer, and it's the gift and the curse. I think they took probably 90% of the trailer from the first two episodes, which is great, but it does mean there was a lot of stuff in this episode that I could kind of figure out what was coming. Like when A-Train says he's not going to join the team, I'm like, well, we've seen in the trailer him at the camp. So, I don't know if I'm buying that. So that's kind of the gift and the curse if you watch the teasers and the trailers. It's hard not to after 2 years, especially if we're going to do a show and talk about it. So, it's just one of those. I wish I could watch the teaser and the trailer, talk about it, and then get the Men in Black or the Eternal Sunshine thing or whatever, and blank that part of my brain out, so then I could watch the episode fresh again without having seen it. But I think they did a pretty good job here. There's still a few scenes from the trailer that are standing out after two episodes, but for the most part, I'd rather have them do it this way, jam in the majority of the stuff early here, so that we will be, as pristine as possible going into the final six, and I think we are.
Well, let's go ahead and take a little deep dive into the episode here with The Seven.
First up, we're just going to do a little orientation here. The show takes a little bit of time to set the table again. Not a ton. They do the time thing again. It's been a year since the first season ended. A-Train's on the run. The Gen V characters are doing some stuff off screen. Homelander's giving a big speech to the Vought shareholders, and Starlight finally pulls the trigger. She releases the Flight 37 video. This is an event that happened in season 1. It's been a threat hanging over Homelander for almost the entire run of the show since. What do you think, guys? Did they do a good job with this? I mean, Sage appeared to be ready. You had a cool scene of Starlight having to kind of infiltrate there. It was fun to see her dressed up like Firecracker a little bit with the red hair. It was a good look for her. Nice little fight scene with Black Noir. She gets it out there. Not sure it really lands, but it definitely kind of took Homelander to that next level, right? We're getting closer and closer for him having nothing to lose. Soup, what do you think? Did it live up to the hype? We've been waiting years for this video to get released. Do you think the juice was worth the squeeze here, so to speak?
I do actually, man. I thought it was very well played. And one thing that I don't know why, but when I was watching this for the second time, the that scene where she was, in firecracker disguise or whatever, it just had that same feel and vibe of like the opening scene of The Dark Knight, where where the Joker is like one of the dudes too, or whatever, robbing the fucking place or whatever. So anyway, it kind of felt like that. So it was intense, but you knew what was going on still. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was really good, and I definitely think it's going to be a pivotal, like it's going to be a thing that's going to progress throughout the remainder of the season. I think, man. I mean, they're playing it off like, yeah, of course they're going to say it's AI generated and faked and shit. People can do shit like that now with the deep fakes. So yeah, you can play it. You can probably try and excuse it somehow and maybe get away with it, but I feel like it might still come back around again.
Number one, what an awesome way to open up here. It was action packed. It was cool. Put us right in the middle of this stuff. You kind of get picked right back into it where, Starlight's kind of on this island and she's the most hated, of Homelander rivals here. And you see, I think the biggest thing to me was seeing Homelander just absolutely break down and lose his cool. I mean, he's spiraling so hard here, dude. And it's like, we've always kind of known like he's weak enough mentally that if he's out of options, he could just murder every human being on Earth. And it's like that's a crazy thought, but it's real. And so you're starting to see a little bit of that. But yeah, the misinformation, disinformation machine that we have in actual real life, and then also them utilizing it here. I mean, just the crossover. And I think there's some people who don't want this show to be as political as it is. I personally think it's an awesome thing, and a way to kind of put a highlight or a spotlight on what's happening in our real world. Because I mean, we're getting to the point with AI now where it's like somebody could be caught murdering somebody, and it's like, well, it was AI, right? And eventually we're going to get there if we don't start regulating AI. So that's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, man, it was a hell of an opener.
Yeah, depending on if you believe Kripke or not, they said that this was basically in the can before the last presidential election, which makes sense. The post-production on this show is like a year. I think they started filming like early in 2025, so it probably had to be about written by the end of 2024. And he said it's almost kind of scary how some of what they wrote, like if they had known that, they might have done it a little bit differently, so it wasn't right so on the nose. But I don't really have any complaints with it. I do like that it is relevant. You all called it out. The opening kind of opens like a Bond movie, right? They like to open with the cold open there, kind of drop you right into it. The big action scene sets up a couple things. Starlight loses one of her people here. You're going to hear her throughout the episode, kind of, being upset about the cost and the things that she has done. And you get Homelander on stage. There's some fun stuff. He calls back to the EBITDA margins. Remember when he didn't know those when he took over Vought in season 4 and kind of felt like an idiot. So now he feels like he's on top of the finance stuff. And it's real quick. Did either of y'all pick up the new chief of the Joint Staff's General Mayhem? They only show him on screen for a second, but I swear to God, it looks like if Yosemite Sam was the head of the Department of Defense. Kind of, it's absolutely ridiculous. I hope that we meet him.
Yeah, yeah, it was a nice little piece there, dude. Good shout out there.
And you mentioned it, Jamie G. Homelander. We've seen him a couple of times. Picture lasering the whole crowd. Did y'all think there was a chance he was going to do it? I was pretty sure he didn't before Sage kind of puts her hand on his shoulder there. But man, they made it seem like, all right, maybe it's really go time, right? Jamie G, did they sell you for a second? Do you think there was any chance Homelander was actually going to do it?
There was absolutely a chance, and I just honestly, dude, I think it was the tease that's going to be delivered here. It's the kill that's promised. I think we're all kind of waiting for him to just have that level of meltdown. We've seen it in the past on a minor level. I think it's coming on a major level if he doesn't get what he wants here. And it was just a reminder of like, hey, that's his plan B.
I mean, that's almost his go-to move at this point. What do you think, Soup? Did they have you for a second? Did you think Homelander was actually going to laser everybody?
I wouldn't have been surprised, really. It wouldn't have shocked me that much, but it would have been like a holy fuck. That's a big deal, kind of, and even what happened is a big deal. So I mean, the show is full of big deals. So yeah, I did think it was definitely a possibility for a split second there.
Yeah, they're trying to sell us on some stuff like that. And one genuine surprise I had, our first scene with Butcher, he goes to see his dad again, John Noble, who I absolutely love. Been in a ton of stuff over the years. Fantastic actor. Shows up one more time here as Sam Butcher, kind of reminisces. We learn that Butcher's mom is dead. Lenny's dead. Maybe his aunt's out there, but this is pretty much, his last remaining primary family here. He killed him, right, Soup? I mean, he definitely, when he kind of hugged him close there, he definitely gave him the chest murder dicks, right?
I feel like that's probably definitely what happened, but the fact that they didn't show it, and you never know, maybe not, but they definitely make you believe that, but it could maybe not be.
Yeah, he's got a little of that dark Butcher in him, you know what I mean? Yeah, who said he wants to change?
I love this scene because again, like I love what they've done. Talk about a career arc here with a character arc here with Butcher. I love where they've taken him now, where he's kind of scary and he has power now. He's not just kind of a loose cannon that is willing to risk his life, right? He has actual power, and I love what they're doing with him. I'm not convinced he killed him though. It would have been too easy. I think he has bigger plans to use him for something. It wouldn't shock me if he comes back around. We'll talk about that in predictions.
Well, I like that. Anything to get more John Noble in my life, I am there for. I think we're good there. Let's move on to number 6 of the 7. We're going to get the gang back together again from the trailer. We knew it was happening. Butcher goes to pick up Kamiko. She gets some fun lines here, but she doesn't talk to Butcher, most notably. So we're not sure right away if they're going to continue the thing. We heard her yell no at the end of season 4. But then when she meets up with Annie, I'm not going to say she's a motor mouth or full on Gilbert Gottfried or something, but she definitely had some stuff to say. And I think that was pretty funny. This is also something that's not present in the comics. It's a big change here. I think it could go either way for some people. I think most people have been very supportive. What do you think, Soup? Do you like the idea that Kamiko's she's a talker now?
I do. I think it's a cool way to develop the character, or to advance the character a little bit. The mystery of the sign language and they kind of, that's gone now, but they do use it a little bit, and that's another option which we'll see later on in the episode with the escape or whatever. Using the sign language is clutch, but having her talk now is kind of cool. It's a cool element.
I'm going to disagree just slightly. I think as time goes on, I will learn to probably like it a little bit more. She's got a great voice and everything. She talks clear, and it's a cute voice. It works with her character and everything. But I kind of liked it a lot better she was an awesome like facial actor. Like you got to see so much like face communication without like talking without talking with her, and I kind of miss it a little bit. And reading those, and I liked kind of reading the subtitles on those because sometimes it was hilarious some of the shit she was communicating with Frenchie. She still had some great lines, and it's fine. It's not like I'm like super down on it, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I don't necessarily love it yet.
Yeah, I mean, they called it out with a TikTok thing, and she does sound like that's where she learned to speak English from to a certain degree. I mean, because she kind of goes way into it. I think it's just a little bit jarring, so it takes some getting used to. Some people thought
Yeah.
maybe her lines were 80 yard or something. Like you said, I don't think there's any problem with the volume or the enunciation or anything like that. I think it's just a character we're not used to talking. And she does sound kind of like a regular American, too. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of
Yeah.
accent or anything against. But if she learned by watching TikTok, that's how it kind of works sometimes, especially if she's going from not speaking to nothing. Maybe you can assume there's no pre-existing accent. So she does get some great lines. I don't know how she knows, what a Wingstop bathroom smells like or where she's seen tit slapping, but she seems to be having some fun with it. One thing I picked up on, Butcher seems to be very easily able to find Kamiko and Annie. He says he's got a private plane. I mean, he went to see his dad. He says it's from the CIA. Jamie G, do you believe that? Do you think Butcher is actually working with the CIA now? Is it somebody else? Did he just acquire a bunch of money? What do you think's up with that? Like, what's Butcher's real deal? Like, is there money and power behind him, or is he just kind of acquired it himself?
I think he's just taken it. I don't know that there's money behind him. I have one minor prediction that possibly it's Stan Edgar, wanting to avenge the death of his daughter and everything, and I could maybe see that. But I don't know that it's full blown backed by the CIA or anything. Butcher's never an on the grid guy. If he's backed by anything, it's a rogue, off the grid type thing, like a Stan Edgar. But yeah, I don't think that he's actually backed by it, but I think he might have somebody backing him, or he might have just taken it. He's got power now, bro. Like he was always had the ability to take shit that he wanted. Now he's got like actual superpowers, right? So
Seemed like he actually had a Gulf Stream, so he's got private jet money. It's coming from somewhere. Those were my two thoughts, either a rogue government faction or Stan Edgar. So I'm with you there. What do you think, Soup? Is there any chance Butcher's actually working for the CIA, or is it more complex than that?
I think it's more complex than that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he could secretly fly.
Ooh, that's interesting. And another thing we hear, at least if you believe Butcher, he tells Annie that he's not dying anymore. We also see
yeah.
him smoking. Is there any chance he's literally feeding the cancer? Like he says, like, the problem with cancer is most people try to fight it. I know not everyone's on the 10th V and the Gen V. That's the regular V. That's not an option for most people. But I mean, what do you think, Jamie G? Is Butcher telling the truth? Is he really like okay now, at least in terms of that, or is he still dying and he's just lying?
It was weird because when he said that, if you caught it, there was still that weird slug thing moving in his freaking temple. So like, I don't know, he looks fine to me. I like that they did this though, because like they kind of use the card where it's like, all right, Butcher's dying, so he's got to try to kill Homelander in one last ditch effort. We kind of saw that last season, so like they needed something new here. So I'm totally fine with it. I think he's alive and well, man. I don't know that he's dying anymore. I think he's figured out a way to kind of like master this thing.
That makes sense on a certain level because it wouldn't be satisfying as a viewer if Butcher just died of cancer, right? If
Yeah.
he's going to go, you want it to come at the hands of somebody, I think. So, what do you think, Soup? Is he still dying or is he telling the truth and he's managed to kind of like, bond with his cancer almost like Venom symbiote style or something?
I think exactly something he said, like word for word, basically, and this might be in episode 2, but it was definitely in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. But he said, if you can't beat him, join him, then fucking beat him.
I mean, that's not necessarily wrong. Yeah, that was a trailer. It was definitely from the trailer there. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the only other takeaway, we got the fun scene with Kamiko, Annie when A Train shows up. That was another one from the trailer. And A Train, it says, all right, I can't really help out. I got a family or whatever. But again, from the trailer, we had seen that he was going to be in the camp anyways. So I probably would have been okay if he was really staying out of it, but never for 1 second did I believe that A Train actually wasn't going to get involved in the action. So it was more, I think, just for him to hear Kamiko talk. Again, really fun, but in the trailer.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into number 5 of the 7. Start living that vault life. Talk about some of the vault stuff. Is Jamie G, you're a finance guy sometimes. You tell Sage is the smartest person on the planet and well prepared, right? Because after the Flight 37 video, Stock price only down a half a point. That's almost unbelievable, right? I mean, that might be almost in a story about superheroes. That might be the most unbelievable thing. That Homelander is Vought. There's this video out there of him literally killing a plane full of people. Half a point down.
Yeah, yeah. The machine sometimes keeps chugging, and she put out a great line here. We'll get to it later, but like, yeah, man, enough disinformation out there where people don't even know anything, they don't care, right? And when so much crazy is happening, we're seeing this in the actual world. People just kind of like tune out. It's like, it's another thing. Like I can't even follow it anymore. I can't even keep up with all these things, you know? And so I kind of got the feeling that that's what it is. Sometimes I wish our stock market in real world performed like that, but it's still reactive, and we still have to deal with that. But yes, I do. I think it's remarkable. It only went down a half a point.
Yeah,
That's,
sometimes I'm not sure what news the real market is reading, but that's not going to be this kind of show. And
yeah.
Sage seems to be kind of comfortable here, right? What do you think, Soup? Is Sage actually kind of grown? Like she's scared of Homelander. She doesn't rock the boat. She lost Thomas Godolkin. Apparently everybody thinks like he never came back. It was another deep fake and AI thing, and Starlight killed all the people at Godolkin. Do you think Sage is legitimately kind of just laying low here and she's cool, or just going to keep with the status quo, or do you think she's got another plan that she's working on here?
I think she always has another plan she's working on, but being the smartest person in the world is, I mean, there's something that none of us could probably comprehend, So yeah, I think there's always another plan she's working on. I also think she's always also out for herself. I mean, I don't think she's loyal to Homelander. I don't think she's loyal to anybody.
There's a fun part here. She gets a Gutenberg Bible from Martin Shkreli, who, remember, he was the farmer bro who was like going nuts for a minute there. He bought the Wu-Tang of Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album for $2 million and eventually resold by the U.S. government, I think, for $4 million. Believe it or not, that means that it's the most expensive piece of music ever like created and bought. It's still never really heard it. It probably will never be released in our lifetimes unless it releases. But I like to bring that up. Anything to bring the Wu-Tang Clan into the discussion here. And we got our girl, another person we love to discuss, OG Ashley. We saw her in the trailer at the podium for the White House. We both kind of assumed she was maybe going to be the press secretary or something. Jamie G, how surprised were you to find out that OG Ashley was the vice president? Or does it make sense? She went from being, the corporate mascot, like just a figurehead, to being the biggest figurehead in the United States government. Did it actually make sense when you think about it, or did it shock you?
Yeah, the irony is just off the charts, like many things with this show. But I was surprised by this. I said, "Oh, damn, OG Ashley." I mean, she came up, man. I mean, what making it happen, dude? It's like she definitely came up here. Like you go back to like when season, her first when she first like was a character. Like it's crazy that she's now here, and absolutely miserable, right? More miserable than ever. So it was surprising, but I did like it, and again, the irony with things is just unbelievable with the show.
Yeah, she was kind of a media assistant in the first season, and now she is registered, Ashley Barrett for president as domains. Sage points that out here. So she's got some bigger designs. Soup, what do you think of the reveal? OG Ashley, vice president. Her power is she can read minds. We did a lot of talking about this. How'd you feel about this?
I don't know, man. I think it's a reach, dude. Like the vice president of the country. But I guess with Vought being as big of a deal as it is, it's not that far of a. I guess it's not that on whatever, man. I don't know. I'm not surprised by it. I don't love it, but if she's in a position like that, she obviously, from the position she was in to the position she's in now is showing similarities, and also her uncomfortableness and hate, and just not, she doesn't enjoy what she does, dude, and I feel bad for somebody like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw that at the end of season
She doesn't
4
believe in
when
it, like it's
yeah, she fired her assistant to help him, and she wanted to run away with A-Train, but didn't have the balls to do it. Remember, she was like leaving floaters in Homelander's toilet, so she
Yeah.
kind of wants to rebel, but she doesn't have it in her. But on the other hand, now she is just one Homelander getting mad at the president away from actually being the president. I mean, for better or worse, she is the vice president, second in line for the presidency, and she's married to the O father now. Shout out to V Diggs. He has joined the main cast. This is a character from the comics. His suit pretty much looks exactly like it does here. We'll see a little bit more of him in episode 2, but for the most part, the important takeaways are that they made Ashley marry him because you couldn't have a cat lady as a vice president. And you know how evil Vaughn is? They made her put her cat down. She couldn't even be a married cat lady. They actually made her put her cat down. So I feel like at some point Ashley's going to snap. So I'm on team, OG Ashley snaps and just, goes out for her own revenge. But I do like the rapport between her and Sage. I think they had some fun moments in season 4. They have a couple of fun moments here. So I like the scenes with those two together, definitely.
Yeah, and I'll say just one thing about the mind reading thing. Like, I thought the voice was pretty cool. It wasn't like her voice, but it was like somewhat similar. But nah, I liked how they did it, and I like that it's not just because I'm not a fan. We've talked about this in previous seasons here. I'm not a fan of the big brain. Like, I hate Sage's superpower. There's no way to show it or prove it. It's very hard to do, and it just doesn't. To me, it sucks. It's a cop out. It's like, oh, because you could basically get out of anything. Like, oh, because I'm the smartest person. So I'm not a huge fan of it. So I was worried that they may go down a similar path with this. However, I'm really happy that they did not, because it works for me hearing the thought, right? And you can kind of get that, like Sage knew when she was attempting to read her mind. Like, I kind of like this. So to me, I think it works really good. And I'm excited to see what they do with it going forward.
We love OG Ashley. Why would we not love her inner monologue? So I think that works, but I'm not sure that Homelander thinks everything is working. He kind of is mad at Sage. He claims that she promised him he could be Caesar. And, she points out that Caesar was stabbed by his best friends. And Homelander's like, well, I know what that's like. What do y'all think? Is there a chance that's what I'm saying, Soup? What do you think? Is this maybe some foreshadowing? Could we really see maybe it's everyone in the 7? Maybe it's, those closest to Homelander that turn on him. Do you think that's possible?
If anybody deserves a mutiny, it might be Homelander, and yeah, beware the Ides of March, dude. But going back one step, just real quick, man. I don't know about you guys. I'm a little disappointed in OG Ashley's powers, and they made a big deal about her whole like. And then it was no reveal, and it's like, oh, you can read minds. I mean, that's great and all, but I was expecting something a little better and more fucked up than that,
Yeah, no tail even. She didn't even have a tail. What if she can read minds but had a tail?
I wanted toxic asparagus piss or something, like.
I mean, that's probably a better band name than a superpower, but that would be like one of the diabolical powers. I guess she could have gotten. I mean, it kind of sounded a little bit. Remember Slater? He played the narrator in Diabolical. When she hears her inner monologue, it's a little bit like Slater's character. I did recently rewatch the Diabolical, which is fun. Just the one season of that, but that's a pretty fun one, and it reminded me of that a little bit because that was Slater's character's power. He was the narrator. He could just narrate things.
Yeah. Come on, man, more Diabolical.
Yeah, I would love to get more Diabolical. That's one they could keep doing it. You can go a lot of different ways with that one. I thought another fun part was when Homelander went to go on Firecracker's show on VNN. There's the whole bit where he realizes how scared everyone is. Like, he hears the hearts of his hair and makeup girls or whatever, and he's freaking out that he hears Firecracker's heart, and she can't take the milk medicine anymore because it was hurting her heart.
Meanwhile, your heart's wheezing away like it's made of ham and cigarettes.
Sir, I'm so sorry.
That one just absolutely killed me. Homelander he doesn't always get the best lines. He gets a lot of great moments, but he doesn't always get the very kind of witty dialogue. I thought that was just a really fun part there. And Jamie G
dialogue sometimes, man. But I think what it is with that, showing or portraying the fear in people, after the reveal of the Flight 37 thing or whatever. And you know what it is, man? I think most people actually think, that might everybody's questioning it, man. Some people probably are afraid of Homelander. Now, do you want everybody to be afraid of you? Like, probably not. Like, some people do, but I don't know. That's not the way to like be that kind of person, man. You don't rule by fear,
That's a good call out, because originally when they threatened him with releasing that video, he says, well, if you do that, I'm just going to kill everybody, because if I can't be loved, I might as well be feared.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. See, that
that's
sucks.
a very nice callback there. And Jamie G, how do you feeling about Homelander here? Is he the proper amount of unhinged? You know, we see him kind of take a look at Soldier Boy, doesn't make a move on it, but we also see like he's trying to figure out how Starlight infiltrated the meeting. So he's got that great scene where the Deep and Noir come in and they kind of see their faces, and then you just cut over to Homelander and he's sitting next to the headless stage manager on the couch. Do you think they've kind of got Homelander dialed in right here? Are they going a little bit too far over the top, or not crazy enough?
No, I think it's a methodical build towards peak insanity with him where he just spirals completely out of control. But I like this little tease by tease here as they build it, inch by inch, so to speak. He yeah, dude, he's we've seen the level of unstableness in him in seasons past, and now he's at a point where he doesn't have a handler anymore. So, him without a handler is a real dangerous spot. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, but Jamie G, he's got Sage. That's his handler." Not really. And maybe she will be more so. Maybe she's hiding it. Maybe she's doing some 3D chess on him or whatever. But I don't know, man. I think he's without any restraint here, and I think it's the perfect amount of him. And Anthony Starr is such a great actor, and he's just all the way in on this. And I'm scared when he's in there. It's like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? You just never know what he's capable of.
Yeah, talk about the face acting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When he's sitting there in that audience and shit, and he's just, you can just feel it, like the way his facial, like little miniature movements and shit that he can just pull off is fucking outstanding. So way to go, Anthony Starr in the acting there, man. Um, I mean, that's just phenomenal, dude. Like you can just feel the fucking craziness happening, and his nervous anxiety shit. But yeah, dude, I mean, the loose cannon with that kind of power is
yeah.
ridiculous. I guess that's kind of what the show is, I mean, that's what we're building to.
Right.
But
What if Superman was an asshole, basically, or
right, yeah,
crazy, or whatever way you want to go? I mean, that's almost the premise. And shout out to Chase Crawford, dude who plays the Deep. When they walk in, you don't see the headless dude right away. You just see his face first. Noir's got the mask on, so you can't tell. But he does a great job of his eyes getting kind of a little bit wide, and you're like, oh, what is he looking at? So then they cut to it, and you kind of see half the dude's head on the coffee table or whatever. And then Homelander
Yeah.
almost has his arm around the guy or whatever. It's just really like,
just chilling with him, dude.
yeah,
Hanging
just
out,
chilling. Like this is just
couch
every
time.
day. Like no problem. I just blew this guy up on my couch. It's fine. They'll give me a new couch. I don't really have to worry about it that much. What do you think of Noir here? Homelander kind of tells him it's almost like you guys are trying to fuck up intentionally, but I know you're not doing that because it's suicidal. But apparently Noir is now method acting. Do you think, Jamie G, I'll go to you first. Do you think there's any chance that they've changed Noirs now? Now it's a third Noir. Maybe someone killed him to infiltrate. Maybe Homelander killed him and replaced him. Maybe he died when he was fighting Starlight in that first scene. What do you think? I mean, is it more complex than that, or is Noir really just full on method acting now, or Noir 2, I should say?
I think it could be a Noir 3 here. I think that Homelander I think Noir is like an interchangeable thing that if it's not working, he can just kill him. I think he wants to kill Deep, and I think he threatens to, and I think maybe he will, but he still wants to use him. And with Noir, he can just easily replace him. There's only one King of the Sea or whatever, so it's hard to replace Deep. But
I don't think
I'm sure
Noir would
Deep
be
would.
easy to replace. You'd have to have like, but still, I would go out of superhero standards again, maybe. But here's the thing: this isn't Goldie and fucking the Trailer Park Boys, where Ricky keeps losing his goldfish. You can't just buy a new goldfish. You can't just keep getting new Noirs, man. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe it is a third one, or maybe like he was talking, now he's not talking. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Noir, dude. And I almost like the confusion there, but it's irritating. But that makes me more interested, kind of.
I think one of my favorite theories was it was like Sam from Gen V, like they killed Noir, now he's undercover as him or something like that.
Dude, how about that? What if it was somebody infiltrating, and now that's the new Noir?
And that's why he's not. That would be kind of cool. I mean,
know.
it's one of those kind of common online theories. I don't know that it's actually going to happen. Jamie G, any other thoughts on the Noir here?
Well, just real quick with Soup, great call out to the Trailer Park Boys, but it's actually Orangey, not Goldie.
Orangey. Fuck, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, Orangey's tough as hell, dude.
Well, Orangey the goldfish. I mean, come
Doing
on
shooters
now.
all night, dude. Yeah, Orangey. Yeah,
Orangey, dude. Yeah, I don't want any
I
like.
wish I would have nailed. I'm so mad I didn't nail that. Damn it.
Yeah, because you had it perfect, but you called him
I know.
Goldie, dude.
Damn.
He's Orangey.
And the other takeaway here is Homelander's not happy. They've already cracked down on a lot. Ashley's line about what they've already purged, all the government agencies, is excellent.
It's just that we've already purged the CIA, DOJ, FBI, FTC, CDC, EPA, DHS, HHS, and USPS. We deported the nation's nannies and gardeners. We arrested Chappell Roan and Tyler, the Creator, and they canceled Coachella.
But then if you actually watch on the VNN show with Firecracker and Homelander, if you look at the Chiron, the thing at the bottom, that like the little news ticker, it says that President Calhoun has declared that parts of the Constitution are unconstitutional.
Yeah.
If that's not like an Alanis alert or whatever the hell, I don't really know what is. Like literally the Constitution, which isn't a word of itself, is unconstitutional. I don't even know how that works.
20 years ago, it would have been like, oh, that's so far-fetched. That's never going to happen in the real world. Now it's kind of like, is it? Could it? Quite possibly.
Spoken like somebody who needed a .edu email address to sign up for Facebook when it first came out, because I'm also old enough to remember on MySpace when you could be friends with like Captain Crunch or something like that. So
Space, holy fuck, I haven't talked
Tom,
about that.
dude.
yeah,
Tom's
everybody's friend, dude. And I wonder, at this point, if they were putting people in freedom camps, maybe Tom would be there at number 4 of the 7. We're going to talk about that freedom camp life. We did see quite a bit of this in the trailer, so we kind of knew that's where it was going. It looks like they're bringing back a little something from the comics. Kind of being a badass fighting here. It seems like Frenchie's working the smuggling thing. He's making some money. That's how they're paying for their black market stuff. And Jamie G, how did you feel about the freedom camp plot line of it all? Kind of everything up to when they actually make the prison break here. Did it work for you? Did we get enough of it? Was it too much? What did you think?
I liked it. It was one of those things where there was so much going on. I had to watch it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times because there's so many little things in there, down to their outfits, to all the little like, there's like little advertisement stuff with Homelander and stuff. I mean, it was pretty cool. I liked it. I wouldn't have been mad if we would have gotten a little bit more, but understanding we only have a limited amount of episodes, I think they gave it just the right amount here. But yeah, I liked it. I liked seeing the guys in there, and I enjoyed it.
Soup, what do you think of the freedom camp pre-breakout?
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. As for an entertainment value, watching the show and shit, it works for what it is, man. And I mean, it's fucked up on that level, but to me, this is some serious fucked up Nazi shit.
Yeah,
I hate it that it could possibly be the world. Like it's aggravating. That this could even be like something like that even exists.
Yeah,
but I think that's what it's supposed to be, and that's what they're and that's fine. So for that, it's what it is for the show. And it worked for that,
Well, the fact that
it pissed me off that much that it made the show okay. That
dude, and the fact that it's basically a concentration camp, right? But it's called freedom camp.
Yeah, where's the freedom? You're locked up. It's fucked up. Like,
well, Ashley has the great line, right? It's one of those things where they put two things together. I mean, who doesn't love freedom and camp?
Oxymoron, dude.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of cool oxymorons, but freedom jail doesn't. I mean, yeah, that's what resident alien.
It combines the absolute worst possible outcomes for government and capitalism. The government helped make this happen, but everything in there is Vought. There's Vaughteburger. They're watching Vought movies, wearing Vought stuff. There's advertisements for Vought coin on the containers there. I mean, it's the worst, really. I mean, they even I do love the Homelander's line at one point. He's like, "Oh, I like internment camp Huey." If the boys made a line of dolls, I guess that would be one, internment camp Huey. And shout out the boys. There's very few shows that can make an internment camp doll happen.
Yeah, I will. Very agreed. But I will say this, man. I did get a little bit of a Shawshank Redemption vibe here. And shout out Shank, dude.
Oh yeah, even when we see they hid the other Molotovs or the other stuff kind of behind the poster there, and that was a great shot. When you walk in and Homelander's sitting there, first you see like the dude's bloody hand just dripping, and then you go to the wide shot of all the dead people in there. And that setup, because they're all underground, one of my favorite parts is it's that thing. All of a sudden, he's hitting the sauce hard. He gets in that boxing match, boom, goes right for the Pruno, goes right for the toilet moonshine. But Frenchie strays an arrow now. I love that. MM's like, dude, now you're in an internment camp. Now you get your shit tight. I want you to have a drink with me, and now you won't do it. Love the irony in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, don't forget, we're not too far removed from Frenchie having a little melange of hallucinogens and having his day there. So it's nice to.
Frenchie's literally trying to get his vegetables. He's paying good money to smuggle in fresh vegetables, and MM's using them to make moonshine, or at least he's just saying he's getting his corn from the moonshine. Either way, I think I'm pretty good with that. And MM's kind of excuse is that he says doesn't matter. We're dead men walking anyways, and he apparently believed that before the execution order even came down. What do you think, Jamie G? Is he onto something here? Are they dead men walking? Is that foreshadowing, or is that just kind of setting the stakes?
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of know, like, look, we're not normal prisoners here, right? I mean, we're being tools to for Homelander to get Starlight. I mean, these are guys that are smart. This is what they've done. They're
They know their
deeply
fate. Yeah.
they know the fate, and they know Homelander. I mean, they've been tracking him and trying to kill him for, years now. So
I like how Homelander calls it out as fuck, though. He's like, you know what? We both know that they're coming, so let's stop pretending that they're not, right? When he confronts Huey
right.
there, he's like, say whatever you will. We both know what the actual score is here. And I like when the writers kind of bring that to the forefront and kind of, just deal with it head on.
Yeah, I think the whole element was cool because even as a viewer, you're thinking these guys have a plan, and both sides have a plan. But then it's almost like Homelander comes in and fucks up the plan you thought that they were going to do that might have worked, and now it's like, oh fuck, what are they going to do? So that's what keeps people interested, I mean, so that was
I like that the boys had a plan, but I also like that Vought already knew about it because they probably should because they're surveilling the hell out of them.
yeah.
Like they don't have cameras in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like what? Vaught's going to observe your privacy so you don't see, tunneling in the toilet area. So, maybe an alternate title for the episode. We will get to that. But if they want to do a prison break, they got to figure out a way to do it. So at number 3 of the 7, we need to talk about our man, the Worm, not Big Worm, not Worm from Rounders, but Worm for when Butcher makes a joke early in the episode. He's like, I know a bloke, but he's a fucking worm. Did any of y'all have any idea that he was literally being literal? I didn't pick up on it until the dude picked up the handful of potted soil and was kind of holding on to it. And I'm like, oh man, is this dude an actual worm? Like, at what point did y'all pick up on the idea that the worm was actually a worm?
It wasn't until he ate the soil. That's when I was like, oh.
And then I still wasn't expecting, until they talked about it after the fact. I'm like, oh, this dude's going to dig in there as a worm. And that reveal was a little bit ridiculous too. Holy fuck, man! I think that's a whole different.
I love how he had the tearaway pants.
Yeah.
Like this isn't his first rodeo. He had the tearaway pants on, ready to just go to town. I mean, that's you talk about a real shithole. I mean, that was pretty literal for what it's worth.
I just didn't expect
the only thing that would have made that. The only thing that would have made that whole prison break thing better was if they had a poster of Bo Derek on the wall. Again, shout out Shane.
Yeah, I mean that would have been fun. I mean, there's a lot of fun here. Whenever writers write a writer character, that's always a good time. There's a ton of references. If you look around his apartment, there's Crimson Countess, Popclaw, Mesmer. I love that he's trying to work out a Reacher spec script. He's like, whatever the horrible line at the beginning is, like, what they say about big guys, they have big cocks or whatever. And so then at the NES Butcher, if he can use this as like the opening scene for that spec script. So that was nice writing there. In Soup, we love the bear. We talked about it on the Bear Brigade. When Butcher pitches them on where to go, he says it's outside of Rochester. And he's like, oh man, they had that honey eye soil or whatever. It's fucking delicious. That reminded me exactly of Sid on the Bear being like, delicious. She said that word a bunch of times, like,
Delicious, absolutely. I mean, yeah, in the food industry, you use that word a lot. You hope to hear it a lot.
And again, Kimiko not quite able to dial everything in when they're walking to dig the tunnel. She tells Worm, like, your voice makes me want to kill myself. That's not great for his self-esteem.
And she played it off a couple times, like, oh, I'm just learning how to talk. She's saying some shit that, obviously is going to, ruffle a couple of feathers, man, or whatever it was. You smell like a whatever bathroom or shit, she's a spin out. Yeah. So there were a few moments like that, and, but you can only do that for so long until it's like, all right, hold on now, man. I'll give you like 1 or 2 of those and figure it out.
I will say that it'll probably never get old to hear Kimiko tell "fuck you, Butcher." Like that was fun because you used to flip him off. So I don't think I'll get bored of that one for a while. For what it's worth, the other big conversation here is probably when Butcher talks with Andy, and he almost kind of tries to rationalize, empathize in what way he can with her, being like, "Yeah, I know you kind of feel this way. You don't really want to break Huey out because you don't want to have to admit to what you've done. I mean, do you think that he has a point here? I mean, when she threatens Worm, like, yo, if you don't do this, I'm gonna bury you. Butcher almost seemed proud, right? Am I nuts, Jamie G?
No, not at all. And I kind of like this new version of Starlight. I mean, we've been kind of dancing with her being like, oh, she can't take the fame, and then she can't take people wanting her to lead, and then she can't, and now it's like she's just all out. And I think that goes to the bigger thing of like she now doesn't care if she lives or dies. In fact, I think she wants to die to kind of feel right about all the bad she's done to try to put an end to this. It's like I'm bad to solve for badness. I got to be bad to kill bad, right? And then I want to no longer be here. So, but I think that just, it's nice to kind of bring back the, not the simpleness, but like the good-heartedness of Huey because he's not going to want to be able to accept that. So it creates a nice little bit there. But yeah, I think this is kind of like dark light, dude. Instead of starlight, it's like, moonlight or something. She's a little bit darker here.
I don't know if she's darker. I think she's just more aggressive and assertive and more coming into her own character.
Yeah.
I don't think she's turning to the dark side, but I think she is becoming a little bit more,
Jaded.
well, that too, but also more, like I said, assertive, more aggressive,
Yeah,
more.
and maybe a little bit realistic in terms of the overall goal and what's it going to take to actually get it done. Her and Huey have kind of swapped poles on this a bunch of times where, one of them will be, oh, we need to save as many people as possible. And the other one's like, no, we need to get the job done. So that could be maybe a touch annoying, but for the most part, I think it makes sense for what we've seen with the character. Jamie G, is there a tunneling thing going on? I know we've both watched the Peaky Blinders, Immortal Man, and no real spoilers here. Just will say that tunneling is involved. We have tunneling here. Is there going to be a third show that has a tunneling plot coming out soon? Because it feels
God,
that
they
way.
they say it comes in threes, so I'm expecting like I don't know, maybe it would be like the new like your friends and neighbors or like
That's funny. That's exactly what I was thinking because it's a robbery show. Like that
yeah,
would be the
he's got to
perfect show
tunnel
where
his
they have
way
to like
out.
dig it. Yeah, they got to tunnel to something or whatever. So yeah, I guess to check that one out if you enjoy the John Hamm. Next up, we're at number 2 of the 7. It's time to break everybody out. We're going to spring the big trap here. Homelander knows it's coming. He's got everybody, chained up there. But first, he has a little bit of a talk with Huey. Jamie G, I think this was kind of a big scene or a little bit more important than you think when Homelander, asks Huey, like, why would they come to save you? He thinks that humans are lesser creatures. He just can't get it. And Huey's like, well, because I would come to save them. It seems to me that Homelander can't grasp that concept. I mean, does this kind of point out that maybe Homelander really is like a pure sociopath at this point? He can't even understand that. Did you take anything away from that kind of comment and exchange between those two?
Yeah, I think it was cool to kind of have that because we never really it was nice to see a little bit of back and forth, but it also showed kind of both characters here. And yeah, I think he's full gone. Like, there was always like the thing with like the milk and like Ryan. Like, I think all that's gone now. He's way past that, and he's gone full blown sociopath.
I mean, you talked about the milk. One of the most unexpected moments, but one of the most fun callbacks is when Homelander has the three chained, the three guys kind of tied up there, and he's like, "You never told me this one's name was Mother's Milk," and he literally smacks his lips. Was that a little bit too much? Or I mean, I legitimately laughed out loud. To me, that was hysterical. But it seemed like Homelander was kind of into it. Or am I nuts?
No, I think he was. I think he was.
He's got a thing for the milk, dude.
He's got a thing for the milk. And I mean, if your name is Marvin Milk, I guess you will kind of like take what you can get. Fun moment. Kamiko's found her voice. She tells Homelander to suck her fat dick and he just lasers her in half, which sets up a very fun runner where it's basically just the top half of Kamiko for the rest of the episode. Do y'all have any problem with Kamiko in terms of not understanding like what it needs for her to survive or whatever? It seems like you can hurt her pretty easy, but she'll regenerate almost no matter what. I mean, she loses the whole top half here. She can kind of talk and move everything normally. Is that a little bit too much, or you can just kind of, I'm going to roll with it?
I'm at the point now where I think I'm just going to roll with it because we're so far in. It is a little bit like okay because we've seen her go out of the window and get flattened and all this stuff and be able to regenerate and stuff. And they kind of made a little bit of a comment about why she was doing the tutoring or wherever it was she in the Philippines wherever she was it took her that long to regenerate, right? So it's kind of like they kind of made the comment. So I wasn't totally shocked at this. It set up a fun little thing. I just think she, I'm okay with it. I think a long-winded way of saying that.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it, but it just seemed to it definitely provided a fun moment. The shot of Frenchie making out with Kamiko's top half while like all hell breaks loose in the background was kind of iconic almost, I would say. That's a hell of an image.
Yeah, it really was.
And another thing I enjoyed was I wish we got more of the conflict between Homelander and Butcher. Homelander does seem to have more respect for Butcher now, given that he can see inside him. And he's like, man, you did all of this for me. But he also points out that Butcher is the only one who's ever really challenged him. Soup, did you like this, or was it a little bit too much of a dick tease here? And maybe they should have gone at it a little bit harder.
I don't know, dude. I guess a bit of both, really, because if they did go at it harder, it's like it might be too early in the season for that, or maybe not, depending on how it plays out. So yeah, it's a tough call, man. It's a 50-50, dude.
That's fair enough. I did like the little bit where even when Kamiko's down, she kind of does the hand signals to the rest of the boys so they get set for when Starlight, does her thing and kind of
Right.
blinds everybody. And Homelander was making fun of her, right? She can just do that little sparkle thing with her hands, and she does actually manage to blind him at least for a few seconds. So that's not nothing. And then we get a couple of soup battles here. You get MM going up against Love Sausage, Butcher going up against Cindy. I wish maybe he had taken her out, so I'm assuming they're going to bring her back, but it is the end of the road for our guy, Love Sausage. It was a decent fight, I guess. I mean, what do you think, Jamie G? Was this fair? Should MM have been able to stand up to Love Sausage as a soup, or was it maybe pushing it a little bit that MM was basically able to beat him in hand-to-hand combat?
It's a little bit of a stretch for me. I mean, I know they've only because they haven't really developed that with MN. Like we haven't really seen that. They've teased it and he like never wanted to be that way and all this stuff because of his family and whatnot. But like a little bit much here. It was a fun scene though. I did enjoy the scene and I liked kind of the build up where he saw kind of, who knew Love Sausage was such a bully, dude? Like he just straight up bully with that thing. And so it was nice to get the little build up there and then of course their fight. And what's crazy though is knowing knowing MM is kind of a germaphobe here a little bit. I mean, he had two hands on that thing. I mean, he wasn't afraid to touch it. And so maybe we're seeing a new MM.
Maybe the moonshine was talking, I think is more likely. And Soup, how bad did you wince when MM managed to deal the first blow to the 15 yards of sheer dynamite, I guess?
Yeah, definitely 15 inches is definitely, it's more like 15 feet,
Yards, meters,
yeah, or
maybe.
yards, whatever the fuck. If you're, I don't know, they got the metric system over there. Or
Yeah,
whatever
he's
the fuck.
Russian in the book, so I go with meters. But yeah,
It's a lot more than 15 inches, though, that's for sure. If you got a rope like that, man, you're beating people with it and shit.
I loved at the end of Hero Gasm after the bomb. You watch him escape, and he's got to pick it up and like put it around his neck so he can run.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which makes sense. I mean, that's he can't really
he's
retract it
rocking
all
a
the
huge
way.
rope, dude. But yeah, it was gnarly. I knew something like that was coming though, dude. Because like, if you're gonna finish a guy, if you're gonna finish that off, man, you almost have to do something like that. So, but yeah, it was. I mean, it's something like I mean, she's great. She's great, or it might have been a little worse, but yeah, it was gnarly.
I love that you had to use the phrase "finish a guy off," dude. I mean, when talking about love sausages.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of phrasing when you're talking about a guy
Yeah.
whose superpower is his giant fucking wang. So
I
that
didn't
kind of
realize
goes with the territory.
Nice. Yeah.
Love whatever Homelander just yells psychotically. The way he calls Butcher William, I like, is no one else calls him William. So I think that's always kind of cool and intimidating. He comes out, he shoots Ivy through the back of the head. Like normally when you see somebody get it between the eyes, it comes from the front. I thought that was a cool shot that, we got it from Huey's POV. Homelander lasers her in the back of the head, but you see Huey see it coming basically between her eyes. So, we'd met her a couple of times. Huey worked with her at the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs or what have you. And that sets up the whole thing. Homelander's had enough. He's going to go ahead. He's going to laser Huey, and then everything stops. A-Train comes in. He gets the hero shot, the flag over his shoulder. It's kind of what we've seen again from The Flash, Quicksilver. We've seen scenes like this before. Everything stops. He's moving at regular speed. Everything else is moving at slow speed. I've seen it before, but I can't really say I have any complaints. He puts the glasses on, super cool. He pulls all the grenades, moves, gets Huey out of the way. People have argued, Homelander's laser eye should be at the speed of light. So you're saying that A-Train runs faster than the speed of light or whatever, but I don't really care. It was a cool scene. I think it was a great way for him to come in. It made sense that he could save the day. Only complaint is it does seem he dropped him off about 10 yards outside of the front gate. I would think he would run them away a little bit further, but for the most part, I think it really paid off here. Jamie G, what do you think of the A-Train rescue here?
I loved it. I love how this was shot. I liked the slow mo, and it was kind of a cool scene where it just gets his little shoulder there, and he as he saves the laser from Homelander. I thought it was a cool way to showcase his speed in a way that they haven't used a lot because traditionally when you talk about A Train, it's kind of just like the like the quick super bolt. This was kind of a cool way to show it on on a real like slow down level, just how fast he is, right? And I thought it was a cool way to do it. I thought the shot was excellent. I really liked it.
Yeah, Soup, you mentioned this already, right? You're a pretty big fan of the kind of the slow down scene here where you get to see A-Train really kind of experiencing the world like as he does more or less.
Yeah, absolutely, man. To be able to portray that kind of like the way he can see it almost is I mean that's fucking awesome, dude. I've been waiting for shit like that. I want to see that out of every character, I can't wait to see something like that with the aquatic shit with the deep. If we ever get that, that'd be great too. Put me there so I can understand. Don't just, beat around the bush and show me it. So the reveal, I don't know if I'd call it a reveal, but that scene was one of my favorite scenes out of the entire series so far. So very high on that one, man.
Yeah, nice way to highlight his powers. So let's move into number one of the seven. Of course, it's going to have to be A-Train because after that, Homelander decides, no, I'm not going to go after everybody else. I'm just going to go after A-Train. We saw a little bit of this in the trailer, the scene of Homelander flying through the woods with just almost pitch black, the red eyes glowing. A-Train's running away. It looks like he's got a shot. And then the character arc comes full circle. A woman gets out of the car, and instead of A-Train running through her, he tries to avoid her, which he does, but ultimately leads to his demise. And again, a gut punch. We've talked about it. We all loved it. We had some good setup there too. Jamie G mentioned it before. Kind of whenever you get an episode that all of a sudden starts really diving into a character's life who's more of a, not one of the main cast or the very, very main character. She's like, oh, I'm a little bit worried here. Great scene with his brother. Feels like he had earned full redemption from his family. He talks to the deep. He's very honest with him. For me, I think this is an outstanding character arc and maybe one of the best redemption arcs I've ever seen. It feels really earned. It felt like he had to go through hell to get there. And then by the end, he manages to laugh in Homelander's face. And even though he gets his neck snapped, it feels like a victory. Jamie G, was this am I nuts here? Was this just an absolutely fantastic both character arc and redemption arc for the A-Train?
Yeah, top notch. And I'm okay with him dying because of the way it was. It sucks for the boys. I mean, he has a cool power that they've been able to use and stuff. And I just love that he came full circle. And somebody who was so afraid of at one point, he laughed knowing that even if he kills me, he can't win. And there's something powerful about that, man. And in a show where you're kind of rooting for the underdogs, that's what we all started as. We were rooting for a bunch of non-soups to beat soups. Now we've kind of blended that together where some of them are soups. But it's still an underdog story. It was nice to see it here with A-Train.
How do you feel about the overall arc for A-Train here, Soup? You think again the juice was worth the squeeze here? It felt earned, right? It wasn't cheap
Oh,
or anything
absolutely.
like
No,
that.
yeah, man, dude. I mean, this was one of the best character full circle kind of things, in memory overall, really. But I almost like part of me wishes that they might have waited till like the last episode because it was the first episode where that happened, But it's the last season, so it still fits in there. But as an appetizer or a first course, I felt like that could have been a dessert, instead just to kind of wrap it all up because that's how it started. But even that being said, it still is top notch, no doubt about it, man. And it was I don't want to say heartwarming, but moving in a lot of ways, man.
Yeah, hell of a way to go out in the episode, right? You just go to
And
the ambient
you
noise.
know,
They do the very respectful thing. There's no outro song. I will say we saw his glasses get knocked off. I
Yeah,
would love if somehow somebody finds those and puts them on in a climactic moment, or they do
maybe
a little
maybe
bit
that's
something
the
with him to honor
last
him.
scene of the last episode. So or
Oh, some
something
kid
like
finds
that.
him or something like that. That would be very cool. But and we skipped kind of ahead to the death, but I will say it was nice closure for him and his brother, because that was kind of the thing, right? We had the scene that his brother refers to in the park. He's like, "You never saved anybody," and here it's like, "You did it. You saved your family." And then the scene with the Deep, it was just nice to see him being honest. And shout out again, Chase Crawford here, like when he tries to say, "Oh, I'm not afraid of Homelander," like the way his voice quivers and the fear in his eyes, I just thought this was a really well done scene.
For sure, dude. And yeah, I mean, Deep was great in that scene. But again, A Train being able to just unleash like that and rip that motherfucker apart. He did the same thing to Homelander in his last fucking moments, you know? So, dude, he's got, like, if I'm A Train, I know this motherfucker's going to kill me. So I'm going to tell him
Yeah,
this.
A Train had that kind of, not a death wish, but like a man, like a dead man walking a little bit, right? Like he kind of figured, I think, that
There's no
eventually he
point
was
in
going to
begging
catch
for
up to
your
him.
life at that point. You know you're going to die. So be like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah,
Same
but
as
I definitely like that he didn't need shit to the Deep. And even if he did, order 2,000 octopus fleshlights for the Deep, it was probably all in
that
good
was
fun.
awesome.
Jamie G, any other thoughts on A Train's other interactions here with his brother of the Deep?
I thought it was great to see him with the Deep there. It was great. You got the one moment, heartfelt moment with the brother. Nothing really more to add other than I thought they did it justice and it was good. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him, man.
I will too. Maybe we get another little, flashback or something like that. But unfortunately, that's probably a wrap on the A Train.
Well, it's one of those situations where, like, once you start to like something, let's say they put a random flavor of the month out there, whatever it is, a Red Bull or something, and then they discontinue it. It's like right when you start liking it, then it's gone.
That's how they do it, man. You got to build demand.
Or in A-Train's case, like Ken don't like him at first, but then he built to like him. So there's other things. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's many of these that I've
Not as many great redemption arcs, considering that the entire inciting event of the series theoretically was A Train running through Huey's girlfriend. Like it was a great moment in season 4 where A Train steals the compound V for Huey, and he's like, Huey's going to forgive him. And he's like, "You're not really going to forgive me." And Huey's like, "You know what? I wasn't, but now we're good." And I think that it really was not the beginning of the redemption arc, but at the point that I really bought into it. And I think this is a great end to that arc for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time here, guys, to kick off the award tour for 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. First, we're kicking it to the Soupdeucer for another edition of Soup on Soundtracks. The Boys always has delivered those great needle drops here. What stuck out to you from this one?
Not much. There wasn't really much music in this one, man. I mean, there was score and whatnot, but as far as songs go, it was only that one that Frenchie was jamming out to. So, and I think it was in French or
Yeah,
something.
Telephone by Hayo
Telephone.
Lafoni or whatever. But
It wasn't the helicopter. It was the
yeah, it was not the helicopter. But one thing I thought was fun, Soup, it's kind of soundtracky. You hear Homelander talk about the guys as Campbell, Milk, and Frenchie on like a Crosby, Stills, Nash level. Like, if it was a band name, what would the order be? Campbell, Milk, Frenchie? Like, would it be Frenchie,
shit.
Milk, and Campbell? Like, what would be the best band name with those three names?
I mean, it could be Frenchie Milk Campbell, or it could be Frenchie Campbell Milk, almost like Campbell Soup. It could be Campbell Milk Frenchie. It could be Campbell. I mean, any one of them is kind of crazy, I mean, like, none of them really stand out as like a Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
I like Milk, Frenchie, and
And
Campbell. Like
Milk Frenchie Campbell.
And Campbell sounds like, or I guess you go in Frenchie. Jamie G, you have an opinion here. What would work best with these Campbell, Milk, and Frenchie? What would be the best order for a band name?
I'm gonna go Milk, Campbell, and Frenchie just because I like the idea of Milk and Campbell. Yeah, I don't know. It just works for
I
me.
kind of like a Frenchie Milk combo. Milk Frenchie or Frenchie. I think Frenchie Milk Campbell.
Well, they could break off from the trio and become a duo after that. I
Little
suppose.
solo albums there.
What kind of music would they be playing, though, man? Would it be Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young tunes, or would it be?
I don't know. I mean, they just had the best band format if you're going to, just incorporate a couple of last names like that. So.
Yeah, I love that idea, man. But now I'm going to think, hey, man, maybe they could be playing some
maybe
jazz
that'll be
stuff.
one of the spinoffs that we'll be waiting for. And I know we love us some 90s music. We all grew up in that era. If there was a 90s band that was going to release an album called Ham and Cigarettes, what band would that be? I mean, when we talk, like for me, Stone Temple Pilots is the one that jumps out. Like Ham and Cigarettes, I'll be like, Scott Weiland would co-sign that album. So that's what it jumped out to me. Jamie G, what do you think, man? Ham and Cigarettes, what 90s band's putting out that album?
It feels like it's got a Green Day vibe, but I'm gonna go with Les Claypool, dude. I think it's gonna be like a trippy Les Claypool album, Ham and Cigarettes.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, you could go like Presidents of the USA, dude. That'd be a deep cut for their second album. What do you think, Soup? Ham and Cigarettes, man. What 90s band's coming out with that? I know it's probably not Fish, so you got to go deeper.
Well, immediately it reminds me of Chocolate and Cheese. Ween put out an album called Chocolate and Cheese, and but I don't think it's Ween. You know who I think it is? I think it's Cake. I think.
Ooh, yeah.
Cake. I
like Cake there.
Somebody did 100 Cigarettes. I think that was an album for somebody. I don't remember what it was. And somebody did Coffee and Cigarettes.
1039 Smoothed Out Slappy Hours, man. That was a
that's a very that's some Green Day right there. I do know that is a Green Day right there. So
definitely Green Day.
Yeah, maybe Tool, Toad in the Wet Sprocket. Maybe I'm just on the tease, but
I think Cake. I think it feels like Cake. Ham and Cigarettes feels like Cake.
Nah, Cake's great, dude. That's a great call, dude. We love the Cake. We're going the distance with Cake.
Yeah, we're going for speed here, dude. Next up, we got our alternative episode titles. The Boys, they tend to use names from the comics as episode titles, and Magnum Mills is our comics guy here. So, Mills, what is 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite referencing? And do you have any fun alternates for this?
This is most definitely kind of a dually here. It's named after issue 14 of The Boys, and it also refers to Love Sausages. Remember, again, in the comics, he's like a big, strong dude. Got the 15 inches, not really the 15 feet, yards, or meters, depending on which way you're going with it. I have a couple of fun alts here. I'll let y'all pick the favorite. I'm going to give you 5. First up, a little bit of the mashup here. I'll laser every one of you. Number 2, we have you seen the memes? Number 3, of course it's a trap. Number 4, Dead Man Walking. And number 5, Punch the Ticket. Jamie G, any of those stick out to you?
I got to go with have you seen the memes, just because that was a legitimate question. And I liked it. It was one of Homelander's better lines here. So yeah, I had to go with have you seen the memes.
It was a very memeable moment, so to speak. Soup, what do you think?
Yeah, memeable for sure. I'm going Punch the Ticket, dude. Buy a ticket, take the ride.
Yeah,
Nice.
you had to work a little A train in there, so I like that. And in the comics, the boys generally have a uniform here. They rock the kind of long black jackets, a little bit like Max Duster from Always Sunny. But on the TV show, it's more about the T-shirts. You usually see MM and Huey rocking the music band T-shirts, so to speak. But it's always Frenchie. Frenchie's our guy. His wardrobe is excellent. So we're going to do a little fashion by Frenchie here. Jamie G, tell us what we need to know about the fashion in 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite.
There's a lot going on here. I mean, first off, let's start with the t-shirts here, all right? The Homelander tee here, with the cape on the back, with the flag pants combo. I gotta say, guys, I have those flag pants. They're very cool. I guess this is not that bad as far as like an internment camp, concentration camp type of thing. It is a little bit Homelander love fest here. They look comfortable, at least. I mean, I like that some of them have t-shirts, some of them are long sleeve. Overall, I'm giving this a solid grade.
That's not bad. I do like how it's got the cape printed on the back of the tee. That does add to it, the two sides.
I've only got like one question for you, man. Well, it might be in 2 parts, but first off, why are you not wearing these pants? And why? And if you were, you should have stood up and be like, "I got the same pants." And the second is, why do you have those pants?
Well, there's a lot of questions there. I don't know that I'm taking any questions.
How did you
right
acquire those?
Not taking questions.
What, did it hold all questions? How'd you acquire the
Is it
pants?
an Uncle Sam costume?
Did you pick them out and be like, "I gotta have these," or what?
Well, I had an American party, dude, and it was like there was a theme. I like a good theme party, and so I mean they're the most comfortable pants in the world, by the way. Maybe I'll wear them next episode. Maybe next episode or one of the next ones we do.
If you're just listening and not watching, just know that Jamie G is wearing a full-on flag shirt right now.
Yes,
not dissimilar to what we've seen in the episode.
I love a theme, man. I'll wear a leprechaun pants and shit on like St. Pat's Day if I, whatever. I love a theme.
Yeah, this was a Saint America Day.
Yeah.
We had a Saint America Day party, and you know, it was
Get the pants in, dude, and that shirt.
it was fun, man. It was
Flag
fun.
pants just need to be hammer
Going
pants
all in,
style, so they
dude.
can be flowing in the
Oh
wind.
yeah,
You gotta
man.
have
Yeah.
some very billowy hammer pants flag style, I feel.
That would be even better. But this isn't fashion of Jamie G. This is Frenchie's fashion. We got to stick to the show here, guys. I want to talk about the new soups here, right? I don't know if this is like some sort of like Elvis impersonator crossed over with like Prince's Purple Rain or something. This is just very strange here. What you guys think of this?
That is comics accurate for the Oh Father's costume for what it's worth. For me, it was like, man, if Uncle Baby Billy from Righteous Gemstone was going to be a superhero, I feel like that's what he would rock.
There's a lot going on there. I don't mind. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I like the purple and the white.
Yeah, the purple, white, and gold's a solid color combo. And again, that's pretty comics accurate here. Oh Father is originally like, I think Ezekiel was actually based on Oh Father, so it's almost ironic that now Oh Father is in to take over for Ezekiel a little bit. But I like the look here; it's a nice, clean look, so I'm there for that.
One of my favorite outfits, gotta be, we talked about it a little bit early on. It's gotta be Annie as the redhead here doing the firecracker cosplay. I'm not gonna lie, I think Annie wore it better, dude. I really love this.
Yeah, it was a nice reveal when she turns around too, because you only get it from the back with the hair and everything, and you're not expecting it to be her, and you're like, I can see it. It worked.
She rocks the red pretty well, dude.
Yes, she does, dude. And then last but not least here, we got A-Train as just a regular old dude. Just A-Train as a civilian here. Not a ton of great fashion here. He does look warm. He's rocking the denim jacket here. Not totally boring. It's not quite a Canadian tuxedo. It would be a lot cooler if it was, though. But it's A-Train is not a superhero, so we'll give him that.
Must be very well constructed. You feel like if that was just regular clothes, he's running that fast, wouldn't they just blow off him basically?
Yeah.
You would think, yeah, man. The G-force has got to be crazy.
That's why you gotta wear the superhero. I remember the Flash suit was always very
people that go skydiving, man. You know, I mean, the shit's flapping, their faces all flapping and shit, man. If you're running that fast, faster than that, I don't know. But here's the
right. That's why he needs the goggles, man, to get a bug in your eye at that speed. Oof.
Yeah, you can lose an eye, dude.
Definitely lose an eye, dude. Shit,
definitely lose an eye.
Right, and we've established not all soups are bulletproof, so gotta be careful.
Yeah. Holy shit! I didn't even think about that. Damn it, that's a bit dangerous with the losing.
Yeah, the goggles are they're a necessity. They're not just part of
the I was weed whacking earlier today, man, and I forgot that shit flies back up at me, so I had to go inside and get my goggles so that I didn't lose an eye doing that.
Yeah, weed whacking. Yeah, you're definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's real deal, dude.
That's the danger zone right there, brother.
You almost got to get your superhero goggles because like you can't just rock the fucking shit you get at the store, man. A bug will go right through that at that rate, man. You know,
buy your A-Trains, dude.
You got to get your superhero goggles to deflect super speed with whatever the shit you might run into. You know.
Next up on the award tour, we got our favorite quotes from 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite.
Oh, Jamie G, I had about 7 alts here, but I'm going to go with the little exchange between Butcher and Kimiko from the beginning of the episode. After Kimiko reveals she can talk to Annie, Butcher's not thrilled.
16-hour flight and not a fucking peep.
Because all you can say is oi, 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 cunt, cunt, cunt.
Like the better with a mouth shut.
I mean, if this is going to be the first exchange between Butcher and Kimiko, I can't ask for much more. How about yourself, Jamie G? Best quote here, favorite quote from 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. There is so many great ones here. I had about 20 that I wanted to do here, but in the end, I'm going with Sage here. I thought this was just so great.
We've been ready. In the last 24 hours, we have flooded the zone with so much disinformation, people can't tell their clit from their collarbone.
That's an awesome one. You always hear, your asshole from your elbow. Never really heard clit from the collarbone before, so really like this one here. Going to try to incorporate that in the day-to-day.
Yeah, I'm going back to Kimiko, although that was a good one. I like the fact that you're going to incorporate it into your day-to-day, man.
Try to.
I don't feel like
it might work in a finance meeting. It would not work in everyday life, but in a high-level finance meeting, it might work for some reason.
Yeah, I hope I never have to use the quote.
It might work in the back of the house too. Don't lie.
Well, maybe with that one, maybe, but with the one I'm going to pick, man, I don't know that I'll ever be able to use that quote, man. But it's going to be where Kimiko says,
I tried to sneak back once in the wheel well of a 747, but I fell out at 10,000 feet. Oh man,
That took a hot minute to regrow. I found my asshole like a mile away.
If I ever have to use that in a day-to-day, I'm going to be in trouble.
So many incredible quotes in this one. This is Compound B, though, not V. And next stop on the award tour is our Double D.
Double down.
It is time for our Double Dams. Our favorite moments from 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite, Episode 1, Season 5. Soup, send us on your way.
It's got to be the A Train and Homelander chase with the climatic ending to that whole shit. Just once the minute that took off, that was the highlight of the episode for me anyway. I mean, a lot of good moments, but that was the climax for sure. So yes, that chase scene to the end of
Words.
it.
Damn.
By
damn.
far. That's a damn, dude. Double damn.
Jamie G, what's your greatest love in history, at least from the first episode of season 5 of The Boys?
The overall irony of Huey, MM, and Frenchie imprisoned in something called a freedom camp is up there. But if I dig in a little bit deeper, Mills, it's gotta be Love Sausage just beating the ever loving shit out of somebody with his massive dong, dude. It was just a double damn moment. It's like, dude, he's really beating that thing. For a minute, I'm like, can he feel it? Because he's beating the shit out of this guy with his dong, dude. I mean, he's beating him down to death, dude. Like beating him.
You can feel
to
it when he
death.
gets stabbed in it, for what it's worth.
You could feel it when he got stabbed
he's
in
got
it.
some nerves there. There's some nerve endings.
Unbelievable scene here, dude. And you get it from like afar, like you're kind of creeping behind the corner watching. He's just beating this dude down with the thing. So definitely a double dammer for me.
I'm gonna just go with the reveal of Homelander next to the headless stage manager on the couch there. It's a nice setup when you kind of see Deep's eyes go wide. You're like, what's this going to be? And then you cut away to Homelander just sitting next to like arm around a dude on the couch whose head he ripped off and just sitting there very casually on the coffee table. That definitely made me do a double damn.
We knew that the final season was gonna be a bloody one. So the next stop on the award tour, we're honoring The Departed.
His soul and the souls of all the faithful departed.
What was his name? The Departed.
And we have talked about most of these characters already up front. We're pretty sure he's dead. Sam Butcher, Butcher's father. Great to see John Noble show up again, but kind of doubting that he'll show up one more time. Probably bought it in this one. So that basically means Butcher's down to maybe his Aunt Judy. We met her in 205. She was where Terror was staying. Butcher's dog. That's when Noir stalked him there. So as far as we know, that's the last of his family that he's got out there. Ivy also bought it, talked about her, took the laser between the eyes, used to work with Huey. Love Sausage, R.I.P. Wish he had hung around a little bit longer. Love the character, love the concept, but he bites it here. And then finally, the A-Train. Let's just, raise one to the dearly departed. A-Train, I hope you show up again in a flashback or something, but we'll miss you, brother. That was to the dearly departed.
It's time to hand out some individual acknowledgments here, starting with our very special supporting players. These are our favorite characters from the episode who are not in the main cast. Soup, you're up first here, man. Who was your very special supporting player?
It was a tie between it was a tough call because it's Love Sausage. I mean, whatever, fucking sausage, dude, sausage.
Soup. I too am gonna go Love Sausage. Honorable nomination here to the Worm, but I gotta go Love Sausage here. He died. We're not gonna get him anymore, dude. It was a big episode for him.
It was the Worm or the Love Sausage for me. I got to go with the Worm. Y'all both taking the Love Sausage. The Worm lived to fight another day. He successfully tunneled in. Love Sausage didn't quite live up, man. He lost to a non-Soup, not 10 feet up or anything.
Point.
Shout out MM, but I got to give it to the Worm, man. And he also got a couple of good laughs out of me, so I got to go with the Worm here. But I am going to miss the Love Sausage.
Yeah, man.
Phrasing.
Good. Worm was my second. I for some reason.
They're the top two, I feel, pretty clearly here.
Yeah.
Now that we've awarded our very special supporting players, it's time to hear it for the boy or girl, our episode MVPs. Soup, you're up first here.
The MVP of this episode is obviously A-Train, dude. For me, anyway, man. I could have picked somebody else, and I almost did just because I felt like A-Train was the go-to anyway. But no, it's A-Train.
Just to be different, I'm gonna go ahead and take Butcher. I loved kind of seeing this new, darker Butcher with power. And he just, dude, every scene he was in, almost a similar effect of what we have when we got, Homelander in scenes, right? But it's Butcher. And Butcher's just great, dude. Anytime he opens his mouth, it's awesome. So yeah, big fan. I'm going with Butcher.
I can't really argue. You could probably take Butcher in any episode, but the Super's right here. I gotta go with the A Train. Not gonna get to do it again. He was fantastic. Great death. Great capper on his arc. So Soup's going A Train. Jamie G's going Butcher. I'm going A Train. I guess that makes A Train the official the boy for season 5, episode 1. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it for the boy. Final stop on the award tour here is our episode grades. We grade every episode of The Boys on a scale of 0 to 100 Vought coins. Mills, how many Vought coins can you spare for that 15 inches of sheer dynamite?
Well, I got to give it more than 15, that's for sure. Honestly, I think this is my favorite season premiere since the pilot. I think it actually stands up pretty well to the pilot, so I'm going big here. 94 Vought coin here for 15 inches of sheer dynamite. How about yourself, Jamie G? 0 to 100. How many Vought coin are you putting in the wallet sending out for this one?
I'm right there with you. I'm going 93 Vought coins. I thought this was a great episode. I'm saving myself some room. Maybe we can get to that triple figure 100 at some point this season. I hope so. But I'm going 93 Vought coins to start us off.
Ooh, he's taking it back to HeroGasm. Soup, you are last up. We've got some big numbers on the board here, 94, 93. What are you following it up with?
Well-deserved big numbers here, definitely for sure. And when before we started, talking about this today and doing this episode, man, I was set in the mid 90s there. But after talking about it and kind of like thinking more about what it was and remembering a little bit more of it, I'm jacking that up a little bit, man. It wasn't set in stone anyway. It was just kind of like what it was. But anyway, I'm going up a couple notches after revisiting through talking with you guys has improved my rating or my spending for the whatever system of currency we're using on this show. But anyway, I'm going all the way up to a 98 on this one, man. I'm gonna tickle that 100, dude, because I feel by the end of the year we need one, man. So I'm tickling that 100 with the dude. This is just a great starter to a fucking show, man. After it is season finale. It's at last, so boom, and everything that happened in the show. Now realizing it, really like analyzing and talking about it, man. 98, dude. That might be the highest score even I have given.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Rightfully so here.
Dynamite, DJ Magic Mike and MC Spoon, dude.
Normally, this is the part where we speculate about the next episode, drop a little predictions, but since we've already seen that one, I've only got one prediction. And that's that you are going to stay right here as we discuss Season 5, Episode 2, Teenage Kicks.
That's it. This is the end of this episode of Compound B, covering Season 5, Episode 1 of The Boys, 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. Thanks for checking out the show. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Again, you can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube, on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff, on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Simple and easy to remember, just like those flaps. FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had fun. Please remember to touch that thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. That's the Soupdeucer, and the Soup's going to tell you what the Compound B stands for in this episode.
This episode, the B in Compound B stands for break. For many, many reasons. Think about it. See you next week.
The train is coming, baby. The train is coming now. The train is coming, baby. The train is coming now. So long I've been waiting for you. We're